because it's all about the guaranteed money. It's about the signing bonus, et cetera, et cetera. That's become a major hinge on all these deals. And so that'll be, I guess that's going to be determining, how much does Hurts want? Does he feel like he has proven that he's worthy of this kind of guaranteed money? And how will Howie Roseman approach that, and how accepting is he of that? I think that I don't think this is going to become something that really becomes contentious, but there are a lot of factors there that I think need to be weighed that could make it an interesting negotiation.
Enjoy the ride. It's just a mystical, magical carpet ride that Jalen Hurts is taking us along here. I truly believe he's going to exceed expectations. I truly believe the Eagles are in for a deep playoff run. And what does that mean for the contract negotiations that could potentially come up as he enters his final year of his rookie contract? Well, here to break it down is the one, the only, Neil Stratton of InsideTheLeague.com. Nobody's got his finger on the pulse when it comes to the agent and scouting community. Checking in from Katy, Texas, the DFW area down there. Neil, good morning, brother. Good to see you.
Good to be here, Rick. I appreciate you having me back. It's a Houston-themed day, man. We got Jalen Hurts talking. He's a Houston boy just like me. So, we're bringing it back to you from the Lone Star State down here.
Okay, very cool. So are you familiar with Jalen Hurts going back to his high school days? Was he a big-time Texas high school player?
Yeah, he was. Look, Alabama doesn't recruit players that are big time. And he was a major player down here, played for his dad at Channelview High School, and had a lot of success, was much the same player that he's become, kind of a dual threat kind of guy, obviously very mobile and a great athlete, and has been able to replicate that on the next stage. I mean, I have a lot of respect for him, really have followed him for a long time. His willingness to kind of sit initially and then, leave, and I don't blame him for going to Oklahoma, certainly, and then going and was able to replicate his success there. And he's been able to kind of, against the odds to some degree, become, I think, an established starter and a rising star in the NFL. So I think you got yourself a good one. I mean, we talk about my Saints all the time. I mean, he made his coming out party was against the Saints. I guess it was 2 seasons ago, and boy, really made my boys look bad. So he's just kind of continued to build on that, and I think the sky's the limit for this kid.
Yeah, he can get you hurt, especially you want to run the blitz at him. He'll make you pay. The Lions, 15 blitzes. Only Patrick Mahomes got blitzed more last week, and you saw both of those guys, Mahomes and Hurts, can beat you with the feet when they need to. And so I liked what I saw with Jalen Hurts. We've seen him get rid of the ball much quicker. The touch, the ball placement. I think the poise and the demeanor, both on and off the field, I was so thoroughly impressed with his poise, not in the pocket, but his poise with the media at the Heisman Trophy presentation, the way he conducted himself. And then we both saw it at the Senior Bowl where he was just the star of the show, and fans, media, coaches, scouts. I mean, he was probably tugged in more directions than any player down there that week, and he took it all in stride, handled it like a true professional. I'm just curious if you caught any of that just being around him off the field.
I haven't. However, I have spoken to scouts about him, and I actually had a conversation with a member of the Eagles scouting staff last year, and he was still not sold. But I think if I had that conversation with him again, he may have a different opinion. I mean, this kid is growing, and I think he's making strides every year. And I think it says a lot for him. He's doing what he needs to do, and again, the needle's pointing up for him.
Well, they're going to have to come to some determination soon, because he will be entering the final year of his rookie contract after the season. We've seen, some quarterback contract disputes in recent memory. Kyler Murray wasn't exactly the most glamorous contract negotiation. Lamar Jackson, who's representing himself now, is saying, hey, you know what? Let's pump the brakes. We'll shelf this to the offseason and negotiate then. Howie Roseman, look no further than Jordan Mailata as example A. There's been numerous cases of Howie trying to get a hometown discount when he looks to extend players. However, as you know, quarterback's a different nature of the beast, right? Because you guarantee big bucks to the quarterback, that has trickle-down ramifications for years to come.
No doubt about it.
I'm curious to know. I've mentioned Nicole Lynn on my show, who is the certified NFLPA representative agent advisor for the Jalen Hurts. What can you tell us about Nicole Lynn? What can you tell us about how a potential Jalen Hurts contract negotiation could shape up during the offseason?
Well, there's a couple things to know. Number one, Nicole, I know Nicole pretty well. We, our service did all their interview prep for all their draft picks this year. I think they had 8 players drafted, somewhere in that range. A number of first rounders, of course. Nicole's a very engaging person. She's an incredible recruiter. She's done an incredible job at Alabama. She has consistently picked some of the best apples off the tree there. And if she wants to continue to do that, she's really going to have to take care of Jalen. So I think to some degree, this is going to be a high stakes negotiation for Nicole, because not only is it her first quarterback to do, but it's also, I think a lot of those players in Alabama are going to be watching this to see if she can really bring home the goods for the players that come out of that program. So that's something I think that's important to monitor. At the same time, Clutch Sports Group has shown a willingness to work with teams. For example, Alvin Kamara was up for renegotiation on his second deal. I believe it was a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. Now, Nicole doesn't handle Alvin per se, but Demarius, who does, was willing to work with a team, kind of come to make it a deal that's, I think, team and player friendly. And so I think we could see that with Nicole as well. The first time you negotiate a big deal like this, you really want to hit a home run. What's going to be the determining factor? We've seen this with all the major quarterbacks that have come through lately. The Russell Wilsons, the Deshaun Watsons. What we're seeing with Lamar Jackson is the guaranteed money. It's all in the signing bonus, and not just the signing bonus, but how much of their of what they actually signed for will they actually see. So often you get the reports on these deals, and here's the average salary and all those kind of things. Well, the truth is that the numbers are quite a bit lower than what maybe the agent wanted the writer to put out there, because it's all about the guaranteed money. It's about the signing bonus, et cetera, et cetera. That's become a major hinge on all these deals. And so that'll be, I guess that's going to be determining, how much does Hurts want? Does he feel like he has proven that he's worthy of this kind of guaranteed money? And how Howie Roseman approach that, and how accepting is he of that? I think that I don't think this is going to become something that really becomes contentious, but there are a lot of factors there that I think need to be weighed that could make it an interesting negotiation.
All right, well, they might not become contentious, but at a certain point, again, if Jalen plays like he did in week 1, say the Eagles are off to an 8-2 start, clearly they're going to say, hey, this is the guy, this is our franchise quarterback. Does Howie Roseman engage in that contract negotiation in season, trying to get that discounted deal? Do you think he waits till the offseason, or what are the percentages that Jalen Hurts just plays this rookie deal out? Is that a potential possibility here on the table?
I think it's a possibility. The thing that you have to weigh is that Clutch is still a rather young agency, and they haven't really they don't have a template per se on how they like to do business. So whether or not they want to get things done early, whether or not they want to negotiate in season, that's all kind of TBA. And we really won't know that until after we see how this is completed. I could speculate on it, but I think at this point it's really hard to say. I think there's a good possibility, however, if they continue to play well and Hurts continues to succeed and do the things he's been doing really for the last year and a half, year plus, what have you, then I could see them wanting to do something sooner rather than later. I think, I give Roseman to some degree, he's kind of got that same Jalen Hurts motif, shall we say, of his career. I mean, he kind of got sent to the woods with Chip Kelly, but then he came back. You never, ever see a GM do that and then come back strong and really kind of reassert himself. So, I mean, I take nothing away from what Tone was saying in the last segment. Obviously, everybody's got their ego. You and me both do as well. But I give Roseman credit for being willing to kind of take a lesser role, let the Chip Kelly era play out, and then come back and, again, kind of reassert himself. And you've seen him. He got to completely retool the scouting department in the offseason, got rid of some veterans, brought in some other people that maybe weren't as proven, that he's kind of stuck his neck out there. So I have respect for what Roseman's doing. I give him a lot of credit for having the confidence of his convictions.
Neil Stratton, InsideTheLeague.com. If you got a question, big shout out to all the chat room people I see in there, Daz, GG, all my chat room peeps. If you got a question for Neil, let us know. But you mentioned Howie Roseman, something we haven't discussed a lot on this show. A lot of moving and shaking in that front office. Executives, decision makers, scouts. So we'll see how that pans out during the next draft cycle. However, I know you're always talking to scouts around the league, decision makers, GMs, and such. And one of the questions that you posed to the league this week, I know, is how exactly do you judge a scouting department? We had Dane Vandernat on, who served as director of pro personnel for the Raiders for 10 years. Obviously, you got the pro personnel department. You got the college scouting department that there was a lot of moving and shaking with the Eagles. He had to come to some conclusion that he needed to find new scouts. How exactly does he go about the process of weighing who's doing a good job, who's effective, who's getting us the players that we need to put us in situational success?
Every team's got a different metric on how they decide that. Some of them are largely related. It's kind of relational. You and I, going back for years, have discussed how so many times scouts are hired based on, how close they are to the GM and how friendly they are. We're starting to see teams kind of divorce themselves from that and make it a lot more objective rather than subjective. For example, the Cardinals are doing, and I haven't got a chance to really dig into this and explore it, but they're actually giving awards to scouts on staff based on, I guess, the number of players they scout, how many of them are hits, et cetera, et cetera. We don't know how the Eagles do that, or at least I don't know how the Eagles do that right now, but I do know that they brought in some seasoned guys. They've also lost some seasoned guys. I mean, I think adding the name escapes me right now, but the high-level executive they brought in from the Steelers benefits them this year, who lost out on the GM race. And so they've got a lot of things going for them. And but I think one way to measure that, their success, is how many players that they drafted are still in the league. That's one thing we'll be looking at in the Friday wrap tomorrow is, which teams have the most players still bouncing around the league, are still on rosters. I think it's a good way to look. If you're a talented team, not every draft pick is going to make your roster every year. You can only take 53 players after all, and you're probably going to have good players that they've got to compete with. But if those guys can go somewhere else and succeed, to me, that's a pretty good measure of that you're doing things right.
No, it's pretty interesting. And, of course, the Friday wrap, if you don't know, is delivered to the inbox every Friday night around 7 p.m. Eastern or so. But you can sign up at InsideTheLeague.com. If you want to be in the know of just the business of football, go to InsideTheLeague.com and you'll get Neil's free newsletter every Friday. But I'm curious to see the results of this because, not only how many former Eagles draft picks are still out there on other teams' rosters, but we've seen Roseman is also kind of try to catch lightning in a bottle with just this week, Janarius Robinson, a 4th-round pick just a year ago, plucked off of the Vikings practice squad this week. Hey, former draft pick, 4th-round guy, plays our defensive scheme. Let's give him a shot. Let's see what he's got. Trey Sermon, I think, top 100 guy just a year or two ago from the 49ers. Eagles take a flyer like, hey, there's a reason why this guy went 88th overall or whatever it is, playing big-time football at Ohio State. So it'll be interesting to see how many Eagles play. Jalen Reagor is a 1st-round guy. They had to give up on him. They're going to face their old good friend on those Vikings this week. So little bit of gamesmanship we talked about, but will be interesting to see how that data comes back. And you're right, there's no secret sauce. That's the beauty of evaluation and scouting. There's a million ways to skin a cat. Every organization has a different philosophy, and it will also be interesting to see how these changes in the Eagles front office come about come draft season and how that impacts the draft process. So, hey, I know also today is Thursday, which means your blog, succeedinfootball.com. Every Thursday, there's a new post there. NFLPA, my compadres here, they conduct the NFLPA agent exam and able to get certified like Nicole Lynn and be able to represent guys like Jalen Hurts. You've got to pass a test. And so there was a lot of glitches, a lot of technical difficulties this year. What are you going to be breaking down and enlightening us upon the whole situation here?
First of all, no reflection on you and Dane. Y'all have nothing to do with the exam, right? So first, we got to get that out of the way.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you.
But a lot of the problem this year was it's the second year with the NFLPA's exam for agents that are seeking to be certified. They used a proctoring service. They had a little trouble last year. This year, they had a lot of trouble. They're trying to sort all that out. We will kind of talk about the number of players, kind of alarming. Number of would-be agents who were unable to take the exam due to technical issues. It's a major issue, and a lot of bugs they're going to need to clean up. It's a little bit deeper dive at Succeed at Football. We're aiming it at people who are interested in breaking into the league and working in the league and that kind of thing. And so we're always talking about those topics. This week, again, we're talking about the people, this year's agent class. We'll also talk about the ones who did pass and a little bit about the ones that failed and why. And so we'll be talking about that in today's blog, which will be out probably this afternoon.
All right. We'll be keeping tabs on succeedinfootball.com. We'll check in on the Friday wrap. What else does Neil Stratton have cooking this weekend? Anything else going on? Little BBQ action one more time before.
Oh, man, trying to stay cool. It's actually not quite as hot out there as it normally is down here in Houston. We don't play when it comes to heat. But, no, same old stuff. I think, it's football's back, and we're loving it just like everybody else.
Yeah, man. Not many better places to be during football season than the great state of Texas, not too far from DFW. There's tons of pro, college, high school, whatever you want. Neil Stratton will be on it down there. He'll be back with us next week. Always a pleasure, Neil. Appreciate you taking the time to join us here on the Football Playbook.
Hey, thanks, Tone. Thanks, Rick. Y'all have a blessed day and have a great football weekend.